Gucci, the high-end Italian fashion label valued at $18.5 billion, doesn't need an introduction. The name itself evokes feelings of immense wealth and elegance. But did you know this luxury brand has witnessed a horrific cold-blooded murder tale, an almost movie-like backstory involving elements of love, glamour, betrayal, and vengeance? A mystery plot with all the makings of a blockbuster thriller film that has captivated the fashion industry to this day. Did you know that the Gucci clan has not been involved with the luxury Gucci fashion house since 1993? Their narrative is so compelling that it has spawned not only a book, but also a film directed by Ridley Scott, starring Lady Gaga and Adam Driver as the protagonist, called House of Gucci. To give our audience just a brief gist of the incident, Maurizio Gucci, the last head of the Gucci fashion house, was shot dead in broad daylight on the stairs of his workplace in Milan on March 27, 1995. His ex-wife, Patrizia Reggiani, aka the Black Widow, was convicted 2 years later of hiring an assassin to assassinate her ex-husband. In today's video, we will take you through a true murder story and demonstrate how a hitman led to the rise of Gucci, making it one of fashion's biggest names today. So stay tuned and keep on watching. Before we get into the details of the crime story, let's start at the beginning and go back a century to the year 1921, which marked the birth of one of the oldest Italian design houses in the world, Gucci. The origins of Gucci. The brand's journey began in 1921 when Guccio Maurizio's grandfather, at age 40, opened a leather store in Florence, Italy. Like many old design houses, Gucci began as a premium leather luggage manufacturer, selling luxury travel products for Italy's wealthy upper classes. Then World War II happened, and trade embargoes caused a scarcity of fine leather, prompting the firm to innovate. And they did. The company began to employ veal skins, wicker, and wood in their purses. This was the period when Gucci debuted its trademark double G monogram, as well as the now iconic Gucci stripe, which consists of two green lines separated by a single red bar. Gucci had enormous success and soon became a favorite among wealthy travelers and Hollywood stars. Notable celebrities such as Elizabeth Taylor, Sophia Loren, Katharine Hepburn, Betty Davis, Jacqueline Bouvier, and Queen Elizabeth were frequently photographed wearing the Italian brand. Guccio's name quickly became synonymous with quality, and when he died in 1953, his two sons took over. Aldo Gucci was based in New York and concentrated on expansion, while Maurizio's father, Rudolfo Gucci, was in charge of the company's manufacturing in Milan. Maurizio Gucci, the last heir to the Gucci empire. Maurizio Gucci was an Italian businessman and the son of Rodolfo Gucci. He met Patrizia Reggiani at a party in 1970 and was immediately smitten by the petite beauty. Just 2 years after meeting, at the age of 24, the couple tied the knot in Italy. Their union angered Maurizio's domineering father, Rodolfo. Rodolfo Gucci, who was known for getting his way and exerting complete control over his son, was distraught by his son's rebellious relationship with Patrizia. To him, she was nothing more than a social climber and an intruder attempting to infiltrate Gucci's elite circle. Being madly in love with Patrizia, Maurizio ignored his father's warning, and the two lovebirds traveled to New York, where Maurizio worked under the supervision of his uncle, Aldo Gucci. It was a prosperous time for the glamorous couple, who led a lavish lifestyle and were frequently spotted partying with A-list celebrities and socializing with affluent and influential families such as the Kennedy family and the powerful Aristotle Onassis. Everything seemed perfect for the couple, but their fairy tale would soon become a nightmare. When Rodolfo Gucci died in 1983, Maurizio seized complete control of the company by inheriting 50% of his father's stake. Under him, the company struggled to maintain its successes, and Maurizio's leadership period signaled the beginning of an end for the Gucci family. Lawsuits, family disagreements, tax evasion charges, assassinations, and sales to foreign investors marred a challenging course for the luxury brand. The troubles of Maurizio Gucci. The once super successful company was losing money and its brand status. This put a lot of pressure on Maurizio Gucci, and as the chairman of the prestigious firm, he had to act quickly. So he devised a plan to entirely get his family out of the business by taking away their 50% stake in the firm. To achieve this, he collaborated with InvestCorp, a Middle Eastern investment bank, to buy his family out one by one. During this time, Gucci had become largely overexposed and began to lose its high-end status due to its massive product production and excessive licensing. To combat this, Maurizio persuaded Don Mello, a well-known retail executive, to restore the brand's exclusivity, which they did by eliminating 70% of Gucci products and closing 82% of their stores. Maurizio attempted in every way possible to relaunch and restore the company to its former glory of the 1980s, but despite all his efforts, Gucci was in significant financial distress. After 2 years of losing money, both professionally and personally, Maurizio was forced to sell his entire 50% stake for $120 million to Investcorp in 1993 to keep the company from going bankrupt. This marked the end of the Gucci family's association with their established luxury brand Gucci. Maurizio and Patrizia's failed marriage. While his financial life was in turmoil, his personal life wasn't any better. Maurizio Gucci was going through a challenging phase, with his relationship with Patrizia deteriorating simultaneously with his career. When Patrizia learned about Maurizio's affair with a younger woman named Paola Franchi, she was enraged. But what she truly detested was the threat he and their apparent divorce could make to her own social standing. Born on the outskirts of Milan to a waitress mother and a father who made his fortune in trucking, Patrizia Reggiani came from a decently wealthy family. Still, she was never a part of Milan's high society. From a young age, she developed a taste and hunger for luxury, and she couldn't imagine her life without the affluence she was used to as Maurizio's wife. Maurizio, though, had other plans. On May 2, 1985, he left his family home, Patrizia and his 2 daughters, and never returned back. He moved in with his lover Paola Franchi in 1990 and resided with her for the 5 years leading up to his death. Even though Patrizia was firmly against divorce, she had no choice but to go ahead with it, and in 1991, the pair began their divorce proceedings. By the year 1994, the once-in-love duo officially separated. As part of the divorce settlement, Maurizio Gucci agreed to pay Patrizia an annual alimony of $1.47 million. With this, their 22-year marriage had ended, but Patrizia's fury and overwhelming desire for vengeance had not. A year after divorcing him, she hired an assassin to murder Maurizio Gucci, the last heir to the Gucci empire. The infamous assassination of Maurizio Gucci. Maurizio Gucci, aged 46, was assassinated on the red granite stairs of his Milan office on March 27, 1995. An assassin would shoot him 3 times before striking him in the temple with a death blow. The shooter would escape, and the case would remain unsolved for years. It's noted how investigators wasted too much time assuming Maurizio's death had something to do with the Gucci empire, but that just wasn't the case. Within 3 hours following his murder, Patrizia filed a legal claim to Maurizio's residence and arrived by that afternoon to evict his long-term girlfriend. Patrizia would attend the man's funeral she murdered, wearing huge sunglasses and a black veil. Patrizia did little to hide her displeasure and ill feelings towards her deceased husband. After her divorce, she made it public on multiple occasions that she sought to kill Gucci. Still, because there was no evidence against her, Patrizia would enjoy many years of being free of charges and arrest. From socialite to convict. 2 years after Maurizio Gucci's death, justice would be served on January 31, 1997. Patrizia, the prime suspect in the case, earned her nickname, the Black Widow, in the press during this time. Her high-profile trial began a year later in 1998, and she was arrested along with 4 other perpetrators of the crime, including a psychic to carry out Gucci's murder. The Hitman would be arrested in 1998. Patrizia was found guilty of the murder and sentenced to 29 years in prison, reduced to 26 years on appeal. She served only 18 of those years after being released early for good behavior. In 2016, Patrizia was released from prison and spoke openly about why she wanted her ex-husband dead. Patrizia stated the following to The Guardian, quote, "I was angry with Maurizio about many things at that time, but above all this, losing the family business. It was stupid, it was a failure, I was filled with rage, but there was nothing I could do. He shouldn't have done that to me." End quote. After many years in prison, you would think Patrizia, a convicted criminal, would be remorseful, but when she was approached by a reporter at work in 2014 and asked why she hadn't shot her husband herself, the Black Widow responded, "My eyesight is not so good, I didn't want to miss." Tom Ford, the genius and savior. Maurizio's death did not mark the end of Gucci. Ironically, with his death, the brand grew more substantial. The company not only survived, but grew immensely under Mello and Tom Ford. Tom Ford was a bright young designer hired by Mello, who reinvented the women's ready-to-wear collection, and the duo together would return the Gucci name to its former glory. Tom Ford is credited with helping Gucci to recover its reputation by lowering the brand's product availability, refining its identity, and restoring the luxury and extravagance that had previously marked the name. Tom Ford showed his final collection for Gucci in 2004 before being replaced by Frida Giannini. Giannini took over men's and women's ready-to-wear design in 2006 and remained in that position until late 2014. At the time of Giannini's departure, there was a growing notion that Gucci had grown stale or unimportant, with much speculation about who might take her place. In 2015, Alessandro Michele took over as creative director of the brand. Michele has been with Gucci for 12 years in various roles, but he was still relatively unknown as a designer, and it was unclear where he would take the company. Michele's distinct style, combining Gucci's classic predilection for extravagance and luxury, proved to be a major success, attracting many youthful and aspirational buyers and numerous fashion insiders. Gucci generated record sales under Michele's leadership in early 2017, reporting revenues of $2.4 billion, up from $1.7 billion in 2016. That's an incredible growth rate of 25%, and the brand's outstanding performance continues to grow to this day. With one of the most recognizable logos in the world, this high-end luxury fashion house today stands firm as the 6th most valuable fashion label in the world. To give you all an idea, if Gucci were a country, it would be the 3rd most valuable country in the world, only behind Switzerland and Sweden. It is currently valued at over $18.5 billion with over 500 stores worldwide.